Welcome back to Blue and Blur, everybody. My name is Mark.
And I'm RJ, and we're going to go around the NHL and discuss current events right after this.
All right, so latest news today. We got Connor Murphy from.
Montreal?
No, we don't. But we got
Canada got him. Edmonton.
Going to Edmonton from the Blackhawks. Yeah, for a second round in 2028.
So Edmonton's trying to beef up the defense, which they may, or maybe that's you were talking about Nurse in an earlier video going out the door. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but maybe that's a precursor for that. And then there was another small trade, Philadelphia and Colorado, was
it? Yesterday. Yeah, there was
Kulak.
oh no, that was Kulak one was on the 24th. Kulak went to Colorado in exchange for Girard and a second round in 2028.
I was surprised at Sam Girard. He's been in Colorado for quite a while, but that Kulak's been a real up and comer. Has really cemented himself as a really good young second unit D. So that's good for Colorado. Trying to figure out what to do there.
And then on March 1st, there was a trade between Philadelphia and Minnesota. Philly acquires Katchouk, Boris Katchouk, not Katchouk, Katchouk, and for Roman Smith going to Minnesota. So that's the latest three trades that we've seen.
All those trades aren't making me clutch my pearls.
No.
The big ones are coming. And of course, there was the Panarin trade earlier. Which probably end up ultimately might be the biggest name to go in the whole shooting match.
But as of 2:00 today on Tuesday, it's been pretty quiet.
And there was a coach firing.
Yes, there was a coach firing last week. Jim Hillier.
Jim Hillier got fired by the LA Kings, and they promoted DJ Smith, who's got a Toronto background. He was a minor league defenseman in the Toronto system, and he ended up being the Toronto Marlies coach. And then he did a stint as the Ottawa head coach. Yeah. And he's highly regarded. He's actually regarded as quite a good technician. So LA thought they should make a change. They were in the playoffs locked in, and now they're in danger. They're 5 points out of the wild card now. So that's not good for them. I guess we get to the cross-offs.
Yeah, well, no, hang on. There's nothing from the Leafs and nothing from the Habs yet. That's the other thing that we have to mention.
That's true. At least there better be something. I'm going to tell you right now.
There's got to be
something. There better be an airlift, as if you catch our other video.
Yeah, we don't necessarily need anything in Montreal to change drastically this year. Maybe one piece might be fun to bring in just because we know we're going to make the playoffs. And just to make us a little bit more competitive in there. But to do any drastic changes in Montreal, I don't think that's going to happen. But Toronto definitely needs some changes.
So cross-offs, they're dead.
Yeah, so since we've done our last cross-offs,
well, the Rangers
the list is increased.
The Rangers and the New Jersey Devils are already crossed off, and I think we can cross Florida off. And I'm going to be a homer. I'm going to wait till next week to cross the Leafs off.
We'll see what they do this weekend in the next three.
We're gonna wait because I also don't trust Treliving. I could see Keith Pelly and Treliving bringing in Dougie Hamilton and somehow getting some other Nazem Kadri back, some crazy thing, and try to make a run for it. So we're not. Yeah. So I'm crossing. Unfortunately, Florida, the champs, they're only 1 point behind the Leafs. So, but I just don't think they're going to make it. They'd have to go on a really big run now. Yeah. In the West, there's Vancouver, St. Louis, Chicago, Calgary. I was reluctant to shut down Winnipeg, but I am now. Winnipeg is gone.
And at 56 points,
and I'm going to the Kings just fired their coach and that shows they still think they're going to try to make a run. They're only 5 points out along. Nashville was a team bent on cross-off history back in December, but they've really played well the second half of the year. They've got Stamkos is rejuvenated. Marcia Salt is finally scoring. Ryan O'Reilly's having a fantastic year. So Nashville's trying to still make a run for it.
Like we mentioned in previous videos, there's only two Canadian teams right now poised to make the playoffs.
Let's talk about that for a second. It's not good for Sportsnet and Hockey Night in Canada.
Nope.
There may not be. There may only be Montreal. I'm going to consider them. If you want to talk, they're a lock. I think they're a lock. They're a lock for the playoffs. Edmonton's not a lock. We're going to talk about that in a sec. I got a wild card conversation. But but both Montreal and Edmonton, I don't know if they're going to make it to the second round. So by the time the preliminaries are over, Canada could be shut down. And
I suspect Montreal might. If Montreal's not playing Tampa Bay, which is what some of you wanted to mention.
We're going to get to that. So that's why I was going to talk about that, that maybe they're not going to make it to the second round. And even if they do, I mean, Buffalo and Detroit are not push. Buffalo in particular, Buffalo arguably right now might be
the hottest team. Right
well, go by the records from U.S. Thanksgiving on. Buffalo might be one of the top 3 teams in the league. Great for hockey to see hockey finally strong and back in Buffalo. That's a real hot. That is a true hockey town, and they've had a long, they've been in the desert for over a decade. So
believe me, the 2 games I went and saw over there this winter, the fans are ecstatic that they're playing this well.
So the wild card races are kind of interesting from a perspective of it's not you got to make it, but you also got to think what you're gonna do when you get there. So it's really crazy in the West, but we'll talk about the East first. Montreal and Boston are the current wild cards, and so Montreal, Detroit, and Buffalo are only a point apart. And those 3 teams are fighting to get those 2 second and third spots because if you end up in the wild card, if you're in the number 7 wild card, you're going to play Carolina, and likely that's where it's going to end up. I would say that the loser of those 3 teams, Montreal, Buffalo, and Detroit, will end up playing Carolina. But if you slip a bit further and Boston or Washington or Columbus make a run, then you're in the 8th spot. Then you're playing Tampa. So not good. So there's a lot of pressure on Montreal, Toronto, Detroit, and Buffalo.
Yeah, to not be last. Yeah.
But if you really want to talk about pressure, the West right now, the 2 wild cards are Edmonton and Utah. And here's the situation: if you are in 7th spot, if you're in the 8th spot as a wild card, you're playing Colorado.
Yeah.
But the Pacific Division is so weak that if you finish in the 7th spot, you'll play Vegas. And basically, Vegas could still end up being the wild card. They're in first place, but they're only 5 points. Utah's only 5 points back of them. So it could be. So you want to play Vegas. So you want that number 7. Yeah. That is essential to get that number 7 spot in the Western wild card. And if you got the 8th spot, it's kind of like a ticket. It's just you can come and have a sniff and see what it's like.
Yeah, both teams you don't want to play are Colorado and Dallas because Dallas is now on a 9-game winning streak. 9 games. That's just amazing.
Yeah, no.
So they're hot going into the playoffs. You definitely don't want to be matched up against either one of those 2.
No. So I'm thinking San Jose and Nashville and L.A. are all lurking behind Utah and Edmonton. Yeah,
and they're not that far back. They're only about 4 points back.
I think San Jose is going to run out of gas again, but Nashville keeps on coming. I don't know if the coach change is enough for L.A. to get them, but you never know. They were locked into the playoffs back before Christmas. So anyway, that's all interesting there. And the only other thing we really got NHL-wise, of course, we got the big day this Friday. We're thinking about we are doing a live show this Friday at 2:00. We're going to do the final hour. We're going to cover the final hour.
We'll have all our phones and tablets out here waiting for the news.
I'll be getting calls.
Yeah.
I'll be working the phones.
We're no insiders whatsoever, but we're going to give you news as it's breaking.
Speak for yourself.
You have an in at the Maple Leaf Gardens?
So the big names out there still are Rangers are looking to even get lower. Trocheck is the big name there. Look for him. We're going to look for him. He's a really good, we saw in the Olympics. He's a good checking center. Kadri's up for a possible move. Vancouver's still looking to move out some bodies. Mm-hmm. And Elias Pettersson, he's got a big ticket on that cap hit, and he's got some heavy baggage with the big dressing room rumbles that were going on in Vancouver. So I don't know if anyone's going to take a chance on Elias Pettersson at this juncture in the season. Maybe in the offseason, Vancouver could figure out what to do with him. But there are some still names. Dougie Hamilton, Rob Thomas in St. Louis. For some reason, St. Louis perhaps parting ways with him. So there are some names out there, and we will look forward to covering that on Friday.
Yeah.
So, you got anything else NHL-wise?
No, nothing. I'm just going to do one last refresh of the screen here to see if there's any trades that happen. Nope, there's nothing at all. So, yeah, pretty quiet day today.
Well, hopefully True Living is making phone calls, and with his salesman suit on. I hope he's got his white belt and white buck shoes on. He's got to sell. If he's out there buying, if he's got a shopping cart and he's trying to stock it with anything other than draft picks, I will lose my mind.
Or a news headline that Berube is out. Yeah.
Well, at this point, you let him finish the season, is my opinion. They should have fired him in November. If they were going to make a serious run to try to change things up, Marc Savard was not the guy to have him fall on the sword.
Right.
They needed to make a coaching change.
But they did it a little. It was just before the little comeback that they did Toronto, so it did revive him a little bit when Savard left.
Yeah. And Troy Stecher is the only thing they've changed. They brought him in, and for the first
picked him up off waivers,
and
right?
for the first 2 months, he was fat. I mean, he was fabulous.
Yeah.
He had great plus minus figure. He was playing first unit minutes there for a while. He's really fallen off. He is back to why Edmonton put him on waivers. He's not been a capable. He's not been very usable for the last couple of weeks, or prior to the Olympics. Going into the Olympics, he was really fading out. I don't know what the Leafs are going to do. I'm looking at Montreal. I'm going to predict Montreal does very little and probably picks up another defenseman. You can always use another defenseman.
Yeah.
If you're planning on trying to go 3-4 rounds, you need 8 quality defensemen at least. So I would think I don't think they have that. So I look for Montreal to improve maybe a tweak on defense, and unless they can find a way to trade Laney, then there might be something bigger on the forward list.
Yeah.
And for the Leafs, it's got to be an airlift.
Yeah,
it's got to be Lawton, McMahon, and Larson. And if it's just a tweak here, a tweak there, then that Keith Pelly letter was not a letter; it was a manifesto. Then, and that's very sad. If he thinks that all they got to do is do a tweak here or a tweak there, and the core can go again.
Steve Dangle mentioned on his podcast that the Leafs hadn't made a trade since July last summer.
Well, trading's not the way trading was years ago. I mean, with all the salaries now, everyone's got no moves. It's not that rare. I'd like to see how many other teams have made. What's the volume on trades from other clubs?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's Montreal done? Let's think about it. I
this season,
since July, what have they picked up Dobson at the July 1st draft? What have they done since? Has Montreal made a trade?
Didn't we get Balduc from St. Louis?
I think that was before that, though.
No, that was last fall, wasn't it?
Or maybe it was at training camp. I thought it was before that. But anyway, Montreal hasn't done a lot.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm not worried. I'm not really worried they haven't done a lot of trading. But now's the time.
No, we got Texier. Yeah, that's what
you got that from
St.
Louis. They did make that St. Louis trade.
Yeah, St. Louis.
All the Leafs have done is pick up one player off waivers, and they fired a power play coach.
Yeah.
And they, but that letter is very disturbing to me that they think that it's just bad luck that they're in this situation, and they can run this back next year.
And whatever they do now is too little, too late.
No, it's too little, too late. That's why I was. Yeah, the season's not savable.
No.
I mean, no. Don't get it. When you get outshot 16-2 in the first period against Ottawa, you can't go. And all the guys, they come out of the dressing room with the towel around the neck, and they talk to the report. Oh, we got to try harder. Yeah, we really got to. We got to do this. We got to do that. It's the same old, same old. It's been going on for years.
All right.
Okay, we'll see what goes on.
Yeah, let us what you know. Let us know what you think should happen between the Habs and the Montreal and the Toronto Maple Leafs. What trades would you do? What trades wouldn't you do? Who would you keep? Who do you rebuild around in Toronto right now? Do you keep Nylander and Matthews, or you try and move at least one of them in the off season? Let us know what you think down below, and we'll see you in the next video.